Hola, estudiantes. Today we're going to talk about how to use verbs, specifically back to back, okay, two verbs, one after the other. So make sure you have your using verbs note guide available and that you're filling it out as we go through the PowerPoint. Okay, remember that conjugation is changing a verb to make it match the subject. Look at the present tense conjugations for the verb necesitar. We know that necesitar means to need, but you must conjugate that verb in order to give it a subject. Conjugate, change it. Okay, so look here. What we've done is we've taken the verb necesitar, dropped the AR, and then to say I need, we would add an O. Yo necesito, I need. Okay, same thing here. We've done the same thing. We've dropped the AR and added back the appropriate endings, right? O, as, a, amos, and an. Pause the video and fill out the first part of Part A of the note guide. Okay, now remember that an infinitive is a verb in its simplest form and it means to do something. An infinitive is a verb that is not conjugated, and in Spanish, infinitives all end in either AR, ER, or IR. Okay, so here I have three examples of each type. Okay, so once we've gone through these quickly, I'm going to need you to pause the video and fill in a little bit more of, it looks like the rest of Part A of your note guide. Okay, so hablar would be to talk, right? We haven't conjugated it. It means to do something. Estudiar, to study. Trabajar, to work. Comer, to eat. Leer, to read. Vender, to sell. Escribir, to write. Vivir, to live. And compartir, to share. Okay, pause the video and finish Part A. All right, so we've reviewed conjugating verbs and leaving verbs in infinitive. Okay, so let's look here. It says when using two verbs back to back, meaning one after the other, the first verb must be conjugated. Okay, so the first verb, you will drop the ending and add back the correct one to match the subject. The second verb, however, must remain in the infinitive form. This is the same way you use grammar in English. Okay, so let's look at our examples. Yo necesito estudiar. You'll notice here that necesito is conjugated. We dropped the AR and added O. But estudiar is left in its infinitive, okay? You do the same thing in English. Notice here, I need, okay, we conjugated. Here we left to study, okay? Nosotros queremos comer, conjugated, infinitive. We want to eat. And finally, ellos piensan leer, they plan to read, conjugated, infinitive. Now let's look at it another way. If I conjugate this verb and this verb, okay, let's say yo necesito estudio, that would mean I need, I study. That does not make sense, right? We need to say I need to study. So remember, these infinitives here mean to do something, okay? So we do the same thing in English, so just try and remember that. It's very similar to the way you would express these actions and activities in English, okay? Pause the video and fill out part of Part B. All right, now here's a list of verbs that are often followed by an infinitive, okay? So you would conjugate these verbs, and oftentimes you would use an infinitive after them, right? Like I want to play, we plan to travel, she prefers to drink lemonade. Okay, so notice we're saying conjugate and then we follow it up with an infinitive. Okay, so we have querer, pensar, preferir, necesitar, tener que. Remember, this one's special. You have to use tener plus que to say that you have to do something. And finally, gustar, okay, to be pleasing. And notice with this one, the only form you have to remember is gusta when you're following it with a verb, okay, to say that you like to do something. So I want you to pause the video. I want you to put all of the details here. Querer, E to IE, means to want. Okay, pause the video and finish Part B. Okay, so let's see how these verbs, querer, pensar, preferir, etc., are used with verbs in the infinitive following. Okay, so fill in the blanks with the conjugation of the verb in parentheses. But notice there's an infinitive following the blank. Okay, so this one wants us to say, my dog wants to play. So we do have to conjugate the first verb, leaving the second in the infinitive. All right, so let's do the first one together. Mi perro, my dog, is like saying he. So you would conjugate this verb querer in the he form, the el form, okay? So we do want to change the E to IE. We want to drop the ER and add back the appropriate ending. So this should be quiere, right? Mi perro quiere jugar means my dog wants to play. All right, go ahead and conjugate the rest of these, okay, and then we'll check our answers. All right, so notice here, each one of these sentences has a verb that's conjugated, followed by an infinitive, right? My dog wants to play. I plan to wear jeans. We prefer to share a pizza. You need to decide soon. My parents have to sell the house. And I like to drink coffee. All right, so check your answers. Make sure you have these forms conjugated correctly. And I want to point out again a couple of things. On número 5, we have this que. Remember that in Spanish, you have to use tener que plus an infinitive to say what someone has to do. Okay, it still applies to the rule, but you have to include this word que in between. Okay. Also, don't forget with gustar, and I put 2 asterisks here to remind you, you would always put that gusta before a verb. All right, so me gusta, te gusta, le gusta. This will be gusta always when you have a verb following. All right, let's do a little bit more here. It says choose the conjugated verb or the infinitive as needed to finish each statement. Remember, the first verb in the sentence must be conjugated and the second one in the infinitive. So an easy way to see this, guys, is that you'll have a subject. Notice here, mis amigos, yo, nosotros, tú, Victor. You have a subject, okay? Following that subject should be the conjugated verb and then an infinitive, okay, to say what people want to do or need to do or plan to do. So for this one, because we say my friends want, notice this is a conjugated verb. So the choice here, the only choice would be comprar, because we want to say my friends want to buy shoes. We don't want to say my friends want they buy shoes. That doesn't make sense, okay? So remember, the first verb in the sentence needs to be conjugated, and the second one must be an infinitive, okay? Pause the video and see if you can finish 2 through 6. All right, so notice here we chose the infinitive for the first one, okay? I need to practice sports, okay? They gave us the conjugated verb, so the second one was the infinitive. We have to do homework. In this one, see, here's our subject. We need to conjugate the verb that follows, and we have the infinitive here. Also, this K in the middle, this one's special, okay? You plan to enjoy the day. Okay, here's our subject. So the verb that follows needs to be conjugated, and then infinitive. Okay, Victor prefers to play video games. Okay, Victor is the subject. Then we have a conjugated verb, and then an infinitive. And then remember, this one's special as well. We use gusta always when we have a verb following. Nos gusta llevar camisetas. We like to wear t-shirts. Okay, so we have the conjugated verb and the infinitive. All right, so write any questions you may have on your note guide for Part E and make sure you ask them before class begins. Okay, there's going to be a 5-point mini quiz the next day at the beginning of class. Take the initiative to watch the video more than once in order to fully and completely understand the content in the video or to help clear up any confusion. Okay, adios.